Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Week in the art world with some big flops on the auction block and a cyber attack to boot.
And I'm not saying I could paint that spaghetti thing, okay, but that's never going back up.
The two most expensive paintings stumbling at the auction block and big losses for many sellers. The most important week of the year for the art market was one they would now rather forget.
Where's it supposed to get? What they went for?
30 to 50.
That's never going back there. It's not. I'll make you one. I'll make you one of those. I will.
Do you have green? One? Do you have green and yellow?
I can
red?
buy that. I can buy those orange colors, and
that's at least 4 colors.
What the heck was that? I actually got excited that Legacy Media was going to be covering the art market, and then we get this guy with color commentary?
Nice work, everyone. Sharp broadcast. Really good. Everyone on the floor as well. Really a lot of hustle. I liked it.
I then got worried that you might be getting your news about art and the art market from some of these Legacy Media brands, and that just doesn't cut it. So I thought I'd give you a rundown of my sources and where I look for the latest news on the art market, as well as some fun art history channels too. All right, if you are addicted to Legacy Media, this first one's going to come as no surprise. But the New York Times is obviously a great source for all things art. They cover the market, they cover important exhibitions all across the globe, and of course you get reviews of the latest art scene in New York. Sadly, Roberta Smith, our favorite reviewer, has now retired, but there's still plenty of other great writers there. But if you want a closer, more focused look at the market, I would suggest reading Kelly Crow in the Wall Street Journal. She's often live in the auction room for the biggest auctions of the season. And she sat in court for the Dmitry Rybolovlev case that you might have learned about on this channel. I'll put a link to that right here if you want to see that. You'll also want to follow her on Instagram, as she'll often go live right from the auctions or after a big event, so you're in the know right away. There are, of course, a myriad of online sources as well. Two of my favorite are ARTnews and Artnet News. Yes, they're two separate things. Artnet started as an auction database where you can look up auction results on fine art, on design, on prints and multiples from the last 50 or 60 years. They then morphed to add their news page, which can be a great resource. They do have a paid section as well, but a lot of this information you can get for free. ArtNews is another great website that started as a print publication, and I believe it still is, but I only look online. My favorite part of ArtNews is their On Balance newsletter. This is a great resource, and you'll get updated on auction results and insights from the latest auctions. And here's a tip. If you see a headline that you want to read, but it's behind the paywall, just Google that headline, and you'll often see it come up on other sources too, but I'm guessing you've figured that out already. There are a couple of subscription resources online that I do pay for. The first is the Art newspaper, and they're out of London and New York. Probably the most comprehensive source for news on art and the art market. And for a slight upcharge, you can get an actual print edition of the Art newspaper. This comes every month, and I find it really fun to sit in a coffee shop and read a real paper. Another site I pay for is Puck. Now, Puck has sections on Hollywood, politics, government, but recently, Marion Maneker has joined the fold. You might recognize that name because he used to run ArtTelligence, which had a great podcast as well as a newsletter. Well, here on Puck, he started Wall Power, which is a weekly newsletter that will keep you up to speed on everything. I'm really hoping at some point he'll go back to doing more YouTube videos as well as another podcast. Speaking of podcasts, there's a couple more you need to follow here too. The first is the Baer Faxt. This is by Josh Baer, and it's been around so long it actually started as a newsletter that would come via a fax machine. Well, Josh Baer now has a great podcast and does an occasional YouTube video as well. The second is the ArtTactic Podcast. This will give you a little more of a deep dive as to what's going on in the marketplace right now. And don't worry, I'll put links to all of these in the description below. So if the art market isn't your thing and you really just want to learn about art, there are multiple resources as well. The first is a YouTube channel by my friend Sarah Green. She just started about a month ago, and it's on the popular Crash Course YouTube channel started by John and Hank Green. Sarah gives you a great overview of why art is important, why museum exists, and why we should like art in the first place. The next is the YouTube channel by Mary Lynn Buchanan. Mary gives you a great snapshot of what's happening in galleries and museums right now. She's New York based, so the content focuses a lot on what's happening in New York, but she gets out and travels a ton. So you'll see interesting exhibitions from everywhere. Another YouTube channel, kind of similar to Mary Lynn Buchanan, is Art Knows Too Much. You'll get some of the same style of gallery tours that Mary did, but this one's based in Los Angeles, so you can get a better snapshot of what's happening on the West Coast. And if you want deep dives, other than what you'll find here, into a particular painting or an artist, you should check out Art Deco. She covers more classical artwork, but is often looking at the stories and hidden meanings in particular paintings. Another relatively new channel is Art History Storytime. She often finds interesting aspects to an artist's life that might have otherwise been overlooked. And she's also a DJ, so you can just play her DJ videos when you need a little ambiance. The big galleries, of course, have their own channels as well. Gagosian does, Hauser and Wirth, Zwerner, and there's often great content to find on there too. Again, I'm going to link these all in the description. If you have some good ones that you think I've missed, please let me know in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Ciao!